Hey everyone, it's Pamela Ferguson. How are you doing? Welcome to Naked News, and it's not that kind of naked. It's where we strip away all the preconceived notions about skincare or anything else in life. And today is one of those anything else in life. So before we get to the actual topic, I wanted to remind you about my VIP club. All you have to do is text REALPF to 51660 to receive weekly, bi-weekly text from me about any promos that are going on or what's going on with our products. There's no cost, there's no fee, you just get information. And okay, so today I was talking to someone yesterday and I read this great article and I thought, I want to do a video on that because it was something that was really interesting, that I found really interesting for myself, and I thought maybe you would also find it interesting. So lately we've been evaluating our finances, and so we were like, okay, well, how much do we need in an emergency fund? Like, how much do we need to set aside in an emergency fund? And you hear the common thread that you hear a lot is 3 to 6 months of income. Really not even 3 to 6 months income, more like your expenses. So it would include things like your housing, healthcare, obviously your food, your transportation, any debt that you're carrying, what else? Your utilities and any personal expenses that you may have. And those are the kinds of things that you need to adjust for. So it's not 3 to 6 months of how much you make, it's 3 to 6 months of those kinds of things to pay for those. And if you're thinking to yourself, how in the heck am I supposed to find 3 to 6 months extra income when I am just living paycheck to paycheck? Or, I just saw this funny meme and I saved it to share with you guys later, but it's like, I used to live paycheck to paycheck, but now I live direct deposit to direct deposit. So it's one of those things, if you find yourself in that position, so you're like, okay, 3 to 6 months, that's all well and good, but that's just not happening. So that's a problem. You need to ask yourself, there's a couple things to consider and why it's so important to have a cushion like that. Why is it needed? In the past, there's been times when I've lost my job, when my husband lost his job, where we had a medical issue, a surprising medical issue that came up suddenly. So if you are in a field or a career that is prone, that has high layoffs, you definitely should have this cushion, this 3 to 6 month cushion. If you are retired even, because lots of things can happen and completely throw you off your game. Like if you normally have your retirement and your Social Security and then a car accident happens or something like that, you're just not prepared. You're just not prepared for it. If you don't have consistent income, maybe you work 9 months out of the year and then you're off for a certain time. That's another reason. Or if you are, like I think I mentioned this a little bit before, if you're in a certain career where you are finding that your job is never stable, like there's layoffs all the time at your company, you don't have a lot of job security, then you definitely need to find a way to give that 3 to 6 month cushion. And it doesn't have to be big. You don't have to be like, well, I've got to put $1,000 away every month to be able to start saving for this. It doesn't have to be so huge. What if you saved $50 a month? If you're thinking, I can't even save $20 a month, that's fair. What if you could save $5 a month? What if there is a way to do something where you could save $50 a month? Would you do it? Would you sell something maybe? Would you take a second job? Would you start a new venture? What would you be willing to do to be prepared if something happened? Because most of the people out there do live paycheck to paycheck or direct deposit to direct deposit. That's just the nature of our world right now. And that's not good. That is not a good situation to be in. And I have to say that in some of those times that have happened to us over the years, We have been very lucky because I'm diligent about making sure that we do have an emergency fund. I'm always unsure how much I should have and what I should do with it, but I always try to build it up, even if it means putting $50 aside a month. And maybe it's not where I need to be. Maybe I've only got 150 saved, and then there's a job loss. But it's better than having nothing. So if there are people who love Dave Ramsey out there, which I am a fan of Dave Ramsey, and a financial, I'm pretty conservative financially about paying things down and having debt. I'm like one of those people. And what Dave Ramsey always says is, in a struggling economy, and if you're struggling to get by, the worst thing you can do is to get a second job. What would you think the best thing would be? Dave Ramsey says the worst thing to do is to get a second job. The best thing to do is to start a home-based business. So if you are one of those people who are like, no idea how I'm possibly going to save any money to have a cushion of 3 to 6 months. No clue. I'm barely paying my bills now. I don't have 2 coins to rub together, right? As the expression goes. What are you doing now to change that? What are you doing now to change that? That is a very valid question. And if your answer is, I'm not doing anything, or I don't know, something's going to come along, things will get better. Do you think that's a good answer? I'm here to tell you no. That's not a good answer. And that's not a better answer. You have to do something different. That saying that everybody says, and of course I'm blanking on what it is now. Nothing changes nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you're fine, if you're like, listen, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, we don't have money, if my car breaks down, I'm really screwed. Is that a good feeling that you're feeling like that? I would say no, that's not a good feeling. Let me give you an example of, okay, so I have a 16-year-old who has recently started to work. And so I let her work for, 6 months. It's a guess. And she just spent all the money that she made, right? Like on frivolous things. I never said a word. And I just, okay, she's got to figure this out. And then around the 6-month mark, I said, okay, let's have a conversation. And so we said, we need to figure out a way to be able to start saving, to be able to put something aside for emergencies. She owns a car, which we split with her, and she pays for her gas and things like that. So we said, listen, if you need an oil change, or if there's a tire needs to be replaced, that's on you. How are you going to have money for that? You're saving nothing. So this is what we did with her. I'm not saying this can work for everybody. We said, okay, because she doesn't have to pay for housing. She doesn't have to pay for food, really. Insurance, healthcare, utilities. She doesn't have to pay for those things. So this is not going to work for everybody. Obviously, people who have other expenses. But if you have a teen starting to work, this is a very good idea. So I said 50% of your check, this is your take home, so your net, is going to go directly into savings. And that's going to cover things like your car payment, your phone, and any emergencies that may arise. So she just had to have her oil changed. She had to replace her battery. These are the things that she paid for out of that. So we said 50% goes to that. 15%, again, this is a 16-year-old, is going to be set aside for college. Because if you are a parent and you did not start saving and put away all this ton of money, you probably don't have enough money for college. That's us. We don't have enough money to pay for all of our kids to go to college. Here's this money. We don't have it, right? And honestly, if you're deciding between your retirement and your kids' college, it's not even a contest. You cannot get a student loan for retirement. You have to save for your retirement first, right? So as part of her working and being a part of our family, I said, listen, 15% of your salary should go towards college savings. We have one of those 529 plans that we'd set up a long time ago. We weren't contributing, so it's not really that big. but we do have the account. So we said 15%. So let's say it's $100 she made. She works a bit, so she does make more than that. But so $50 would go to her savings, would be her car payment, her phone, any emergency funds. $15 would be deposited into her college savings account. And I said 35, I have to preface this is that at one time a month, we take off the top money that goes to charity because our family giving back charitable organizations is a high priority. So we take that away first. So let's say we did $10 to charity. So in this example, I guess we take away 10 from the top. Let's say it was 110. We took away 10 to be 100. So we took away that from the first, and then we started doing the percents. 50% to savings, 15% to college, and we said 35% to spend on gas, on dinner with your friends, on nail polish, to get a manicure, whatever you wanted to do, this is your money to spend. And I said, listen, you don't have to spend it all. Your goal is to not spend it all. So the more money you can put aside, the better. And I also said this to my other daughter. I said, you know what? If you make $30,000 or $230,000, what you make is not as important as how much you save. So if you make $30,000, but you only spend 15, you're saving 15. Versus if you make $230 and spend $230, which person's doing better? It's a no-brainer. So you need to make changes or adjustments, or a home-based business, or sell things, or not go out to dinner as much. There's lots. I mean, I could give you like a zillion ideas about ways to cut back, to try to find money to save stuff, or even earn money to start a home-based business. Some of them are as low as, $40, $50 to start, and you can start making residual income. I know that's my business the way it is. You can start making residual income that you can use to build up your emergency fund. But the point is, if you are just kind of going with the flow, when something happens, a lot of you know that years ago now, right when after I had my first child, I was planning to go back to work. And first day back after maternity leave, they brought me into their office and said, hey, guess what? We've eliminated your job. So I didn't have any plan B. I didn't have any side hustle. I didn't have anything going on. We did not have the savings at the time. Just had a baby. So I did not want to be in that position on so many levels again. So now I plan ahead. I think, okay, the first thing I need to do is set money aside, and then I can spend money, right? I have to put that aside first. So, if you're somebody who loves those lattes or those coffees, those $5 coffees every day, or even a couple times a week, think about it. If you have 3 a week, so that's $15 a week. So that's $60 a month. You've just put away $60 into your emergency fund. $60 is not going to save anything, right? But hopefully you'll keep building and building and building and building. And then the other thing too is that if I always like to plan for things. So for us, we love to vacation. We love to vacation and like to do as much as we possibly can. So every month, when I set aside our funds, I also set aside money for a vacation. Because when we decide what vacation we want to do or where we want to go, I'm already going to have a cushion of money that we're going to be able to use. Instead of like, oh yeah, well, I went out to eat, I went to the movies, and I did all these things a zillion times, and what have I got to show for it? Except for, no, wow, I've saved that money for 2 years, and now guess what? I'm going to go to Italy. Whatever it might be, wherever is important for you. But the point is that, this applies to everything. This applies to student loans. Many of you know, when I started my business, we had $200,000 in student loan debt. I've been in the business 5 years. Guess how much we have now? 0. Part of it is because I am very particular about carrying debt, and I don't like to do it, and I try to really focus on paying off the debt. But you know what we didn't do at first? We didn't go on vacation. We did not have really great cars. we didn't really go out to dinner too much. So making cutbacks for the long-term rewards. So if you are trying to gain a 3 to 6 month cushion, if you're somebody who likes to go out to dinner and throw down at the bar, eliminate one of those. Eliminate one a month, eliminate one a week. I don't know how often you go out. There are steps that you can take, even with what you're doing exactly now, to make that better. There are. And reach out to me, because like this is my love. It's like very interesting, this financial stuff. I'm a numbers person, and I'm all about, okay, how can we do it to be able to give back to charity, pay for what we need, save for vacation, and have an emergency fund, right? And if everything else, then you've got the retirement, you've got the college fund, you've got that, and it's okay if you can't get to everything. It's okay. Your child's life is not going to be ruined if they have to go to a community college because you don't have money saved for their college, or they can get a student loan. But what are you going to do if someone gets into a car accident, if someone loses their job? That's when it becomes really, really important. So 3 to 6 months is what you need. Start small. Again, don't get a second job. Start a home-based business. Per Dave Ramsey, and he kind of knows some stuff about finance. If you have any questions about any of this, please let me know. I could talk about this stuff all day. And if you are curious about how I paid down all that debt, I would love to talk with you too. Or if you have any ideas for you, or want to talk about the teens and how I continue to try to teach them about money, about putting things aside. I'm not a financial guru. I mean, yes, I do have a master's degree, an MBA, but I wasn't even a finance major. It's just something over time that I have picked up that I liked, and is so important, especially if you are living from direct deposit to direct deposit, to teach our kids to not have to do that. So try to teach them to put away to charity, to save, and not spend everything that they earn. Learning experience. Have a great day, and let's catch up soon. Thanks. Bye.